Good evening, friends, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. I don't know why I just introduced like that, but welcome. Good to have everybody here tonight. I want to thank you all for hanging out with us on a Thursday evening. This week seems to have gone by so fast. I know we still got a couple days, but that's New Year's and stuff. So, but thank you everybody for being here. I'm excited for tonight's show. A little bit different than we've been doing lately, but something that I hope we'll be doing a lot more of going into 2024. Tonight we have a great special guest with us. If you saw my thumbnail, i.e. A member of a subscriber to my channel, you might have gotten a little bit of a hint. And if you saw it on his channel, you might have just given it away, but that's okay. We weren't trying to hide it here. But I do want to introduce, and I am excited to have with us tonight, your friend and mine, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Mr. Mark Fisher.
Hey, how you doing, Denver SteveO?
There he is. Good. I'm doing good, Mark. How are you? Oh, I'm turning my sound down a little bit. I just kind of blew out my eardrum. I'm good. How are you? How was your holiday?
I was good. It's uneventful, really. In Las Vegas. It's funny once you get, I don't have kids or anything like that, but when you get to be my age, it's just really more hanging out with friends, going to dinner or parties, and also with my mother. You know what I mean? My mother's 93, so I spent some time with her. And my dog, Misha, who you may hear a little bit in the background. I have her out on the patio. I may have to let her in at some point because she barks at people walking by, but I'll try and be mindful of that.
I think I left. I was going to say, I think I left my patio open downstairs, so one of my dogs will more than likely run out and bark at a neighbor or somebody walking by as well, and we will definitely hear Lewis. I hear Billy's toes ticking back and forth behind me, so he's up on the second floor with me here, and I don't know what Albie is doing. He's gone, but let me ask: is the holiday season, is that probably the quietest season in Vegas, or is okay?
Yeah, it's the National Finals Rodeo. It ends around the 15th or 16th of December, and then from December that until a couple days before New Year's, the town is quiet for the town. Yeah, and then everybody loads up here for New Year's.
Aha! So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. If you want a place to go and to just cash in on all those slot machines, Vegas over Christmas.
1 second, I'm going to let Misha in.
You go let Misha in, absolutely. Understandable.
Misha,
yeah, so oh, there's Misha. I see Misha's tail. Oh,
there's kids outside playing.
See the tail
outside playing. Yeah.
Hey,
baby.
We're puppy fans on in Xenu Nation here, so
that's right.
I'm sure we're getting some chats going. Look, it's a dog. So for anybody who's here on my channel on at Denver SteveO, DenverSteveO, no spaces, no dashes, none of that stuff. It would behoove you. I was just trying to think of the best way to say it. It would behoove you to join, and to subscribe to both of Mark's channels, and I'm just going to pop them up here, one at a time, mind you. But Mark's new channel here is Las Vegas Travel and More. It's at M Fisher LV. That's at M Fisher, Fisher LV, like for Las Vegas. I always think of Bobby Fischer, who threw that C in his name.
Yeah, the C in there. Yeah,
it didn't belong there. So this is one of Mark's channels, and then we also have, drum roll, wait for it. Hang on, let me get to it. I have to stop sharing before I can reshare. So I was trying to do a little quick way around this, and it wouldn't let me do that. So Mark's other channel, I did not mean for this to take this long, everybody, is Our Scientology Stories, Peeling the Onion. And that is at Mark Fisher and Janice Gilham Grady. That's MarkFisherAndJanis Gillhamgrady. So at Mark Fisher and Janice Gilham Grady, that's Our Scientology Stories, Peeling the Onion. Great content on both of these channels, if I may say so, as a subscriber.
Thank you.
And as a member to the Onion people. I absolutely love these channels. So yeah, there we go. Now I'm back. Okay, now I can look front again.
Yeah, like as I was telling you before we started, we started, the Scientology Peeling the Onion channel in March or April. I think it was April.
Right.
This year, right? And it was due to Aaron Smith-Levin, encouraging us to do a channel, and we got help from other people as well. And it went really fast. I mean, we got 1,000 subscribers, I think, in the first 2 weeks, and we got 400 hours in like the first 5 weeks, and we were monetized, and we were rocking and rolling and doing all time. And then I decided to start the second channel, the Las Vegas Travel and More. And I decided to do that just for something to do for fun, we talk about serious things on the Scientology channel. And I thought, well, it'd be fun. I like to travel. I like Las Vegas. Obviously, I've lived here a long time. And I thought, I could do some fun videos for that. So I started that 2.5 months ago, and it's taking longer. It's not as popular, obviously, as the Scientology one is. But, I've got 560 subscribers, and I've just went over 800 view hours, and I've got to get over 4,000 view hours. So I'm trying to do, some of these lives. So if you want to stream on 2 devices, you could go to my Fisher LV and stream on there. That would give me the views, as well as Denver SteveO on his channel, and we can share on it, and that would be greatly appreciated. And then also subscribe, just click that subscribe button. It's a fun channel. I go over restaurants here in Las Vegas that I like to go to, shows, things to do. Also, we did interviews like I did with Apostate Alex. We went over my trip to London 20 years ago, and I showed photographs. And, it's just a fun channel. I give tips on travel. And we want to do some live Q&As, and live streams where, the viewers in the chat can discuss the travel and things like that. And hopefully we'll do some of that tonight too. But that's basically the flavor of the channel. It's nothing serious. It's something fun. And, I want to keep making it grow.
It doesn't, as we know from this channel, it doesn't all have to be, serious and awe. And, if you've got the passion, you've got the, you enjoy something like that, do it. Absolutely. It makes a ton of sense. So, I've loved the channel. I remember the video with Alex. It was it a week and a half, 2 weeks ago now? It
was about 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, no, it was great. And, just absolutely. Just a fantastic channel. So, with that though, I should probably ask you what's coming up in Vegas? What we got? You said the rodeo just went away. You got anything big coming up?
Well, there's always things happening in Las Vegas. I mean, we had the Formula One race, the first one in November, and that was a huge event. And then we always have the National Finals Rodeo. It's the Super Bowl rodeo in December. But we've got the Super Bowl is going to be here for the first time in February. We've never had the Super Bowl. We have our new stadium. Of course, the Las Vegas Raiders play here, and I'm not particularly a fan of that team, but they've been great for the economy and great for the city. And we've got this beautiful Allegiant Stadium, and there's no better place really to hold the Super Bowl if you think about it. I mean, we have more hotel rooms adjacent to the stadium than probably any other city. Like when you go to Phoenix for the Super Bowl, I went by the stadium there about 2 weeks before the Super Bowl last year or this year. And you've got to drive 30 or 40 minutes outside of Phoenix to get to the stadium. Ours is you literally go across a bridge and it's right there, right next to the Strip. So we've got that going on in February. But there's always things going on. The other big thing that we have going on here is the Sphere. Have you seen the big Sphere? It's like a big globe auditorium that's shaped like the planet Earth. It's huge.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's open finally. They spent, I don't know, $2.5 billion building it. It's owned by Madison Square Garden Entertainment. And they had U2 is basically the resident performers there since it opened in September. And they perform, I think, every week, like 3 or 4 shows a week. And my friend Tom and his girlfriend, they went a couple weeks ago. And they said it was fantastic. I mean, you can see it on YouTube. It's huge on the inside. It's got these big LED screens that are like 10 stories tall, and you're sitting in. It's like the biggest IMAX theater you've ever seen in your life, and it's pretty spectacular from what I understand. I didn't get a chance to go. Got speakers in the chairs and all that, and it's going to be a huge thing. As a matter of fact, the NHL, the National Hockey League, they're going to have their draft there. And then the UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championship, they're going to have their first championship fight there in July. Dana White loved it so much when he saw the concert. So, that's a big draw, and I haven't had a chance to go yet, but,
You sold me at U2, so that I definitely need to get over there and see that. You've also got, if I remember you were saying, well, it's not there yet, but you got some crazy something going between Vegas and LA, or is there?
Oh yeah, that's right. We've got they just put the federal government just allocated $2 billion towards a bullet train like you would see in Japan, like that goes over 200 miles an hour between I think it's Rancho Cucamonga in near San Bernardino in LA.
Okay.
And it's going to go to Las Vegas. And it's made by a company called Brightline. And they've got a station already, the land already purchased, and they want to get it done in the next 4 years, I guess, before the next Olympics in Los Angeles. And that's going to allow people to go on a train at over 200 miles an hour between Southern California and Las Vegas, which would be a great thing.
That is awesome. That is wow.
Yeah, and then we've got other things too, like Elon Musk has his boring company here in Las Vegas. And basically that's the underground tunneling machine that, basically goes in under the ground and makes a tunnel, right? And he invested in it several years ago, but their first sort of proof of concept was the convention center here in Las Vegas. And they did like a 1.5 mile tunnel between the new West Hall on the Strip to the North Hall and the South Hall, and they drive you in Teslas, electric cars, underground between the hall.
Of course they do, right?
A 2-mile thing, yeah. And then they extended it to Resort World, which is a new casino on the Strip, and it was so successful, the city council approved having a 70 or 80 stations. And they're gonna do the tunnels to all the casinos and downtown Las Vegas, including the airport and the football stadium. And then they're going to have cars that can hold people, and they're saying that once it's done, they'll be able to handle 90,000 people an hour in these tubes. And it's all electric and all that. So it's we're in the desert, so they'll have stations all different places. You just get on them and away you go. I did a video on that on my channel, on my Las Vegas Travel and More, and I showed pictures of what it looks like, and it's going to be phenomenal. Elon Musk is, he's just so forward thinking, and it's believe it or not, they put the money there. So the thing I love about it though is that I grew up in Washington, D.C., and when they put in the metro, which is the subway in D.C. in the 1970s, they tear up the streets for months and months and months to put the channel, the tunnels underneath and the stations and all that, right? Well, the boring company, they just bore right under. When they did the one at the convention center, you would have never known that they were doing anything. Next thing you know, it was there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny. I work for a tech company that often has to do, boring to layout, tunneling to essentially for at this point now it's fiber optics, and they always take forever. So
Well, and then his concept of the company is that not only would it be for transportation, but for cargo, moving cargo between different buildings, and
totally.
also utilities. You know what I mean? Because they can bore under, and then they can run the utility lines under there, and they'll have access to them, and it's pretty amazing.
Wowza. Yeah, no, that's
So he's not only wants to go in space into the moon, but he wants to go underground as well.
I still think that I can be on one of his flights to Mars. That's going to happen in my lifetime, and it will be safe enough for 90, 120-year-olds at that point. I will live to be 120.
I'm actually reading the biography that just came out a couple months ago by Walter Isaacson on Elon Musk, and he cooperated. He let everybody be interviewed by the author, and he got interviewed by the author. And I read books. I read them audio. I love audio books because I basically, when I'm driving, I listen to them. And I didn't know much about Elon Musk, but his story is fascinating. I wonder if he's an alien that was sent to this planet in order to get us ahead of the game. That's what I mean. He's just so forward thinking in that. But he suffers from Asperger's. And so he comes across a little cold and unemotional sometimes, but it's based off the fact that that's a disorder that people can have where they don't really feel emotion or whatever. But it's really interesting. And he came from a really father who was very abusive and all that. But the guy, everything he's done, he's just made it. He's the one who didn't start PayPal, but PayPal was his first company, and then he decided went SpaceX, and then Tesla, and now the Boring Company. And he's always thinking about how to basically help us survive on the planet and go to space. That's kind of been his dream.
Yeah, no, he's definitely a polarizing entity, and I know a lot of people that are not amused by him, and sometimes I scratch my head and go, I wonder, am I thinking the right thing about him? But he is. You're absolutely right. He's very forward thinking, and the companies that he's created are obviously all for the positive. Yeah, and he's. Trying to think of the word, but no, just an ingenious person. Love him or hate him. Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting to me because I, of course, worked for David Miscavige, and I knew David Miscavige since he was 16, right? And there's a lot of traits that Elon Musk has that are similar to David Miscavige. He's not well loved by his employees because he drives them really hard and he makes them meet impossible deadlines and timetables, but he manages to get results. Now he's not as abusive or vindictive as Miscavige, of course, and he's created lots of multimillionaires, you know what I mean, through his companies and everything. But he's just really focused and driven, and he doesn't like to let anything get in his way. And he that's how it is. So it's interesting to me reading the stories about him because I notice characteristics in him and other people that you see in the world that get things done that are can be complete a-holes. You know what I mean?
Right. Have you gotten to a point in the story in the book where he explains the names of his children?
No, but I did get explained as to why everything's called X. You know what I mean? Like he changed Twitter to X, right? Yeah. You're not tweeting anymore. You're Xing or whatever, right? And then he's got SpaceX, and then he's got Twitter's X, and then he's got some other thing. One of his kids is named X, I think, or whatever. And they kind of explained to him that he was pushing X. He wanted PayPal when he merged his company with the existing PayPal. He wanted to call it X. So I don't know. Like I said, he may be an alien from another planet. I have no idea. Maybe X marks the spot.
And I intentionally did not use X marks the spot in my thumbnail for tonight because I think I put it down and I went, no, I'll probably have to do one about the company formerly known as Twitter at some point, and I don't want to have already used that. So I saved that one from the thumbnail. But interesting. Yeah, it's I suppose he would have called Tesla Teslex if there wasn't, some famous man on the other side of that. So
yeah, I'm going out of focus.
Are you
here.
focusing? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess it's auto focusing on me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, apparently I'm already hitting the sauce. So, hey, everybody, if you're on Xenu, Marlene, if you know what that means, do your thing.
I'm gonna go out and come back in just briefly to reset my camera. Hold on.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Steve, I don't disagree with you. I would much prefer Bono. Yeah, before they sold out. So
there I am. I'm back.
There you are. Nice and clear. Nice and clear. So I was just agreeing with Steve with Steve Britton that Bono's maybe gotten a little yappy in the last few years.
Yeah. They're one of my favorite bands too. The best concert, if people ever ask you, oh, what's the best concert you ever saw? The best concert I ever saw was in 1992, 93, the Zoo TV tour with U2 in the Houston Astrodome. I was in Houston at the time, and it was when they had the big, cameras and TV. I mean, this is way before the internet or anything else like that. But cable TV was the thing, and the Achtung Baby album had come out, and Zoo TV. That was the most amazing tour. And I was down on the floor in the Houston Astrodome watching that show, and it's still the best concert I ever saw.
I saw that concert, not live, but I saw a video of that concert, and I don't know what stadium that video was from, but yeah, it just looked incredible. And Achtung Baby is a fantastic album too. So,
what's the best concert you ever seen, SteveO?
Wow, that's
I got two.
That's a tough one for me.
Tell me your
second one.
So U2 was the top one. Number two, AC/DC at the Thomas and Mack Center here in Las Vegas in like 1995 or whatever. It was the loudest concert I've been to, but man, was it rocking! And I mean, that AC/DC just blew the roof off of that place.
I would say probably, probably the best concert I ever saw was Cake. Back in the late 90s, and Cake played at First Avenue, the 7th Street entry, which is Prince's old stomping grounds back in Minneapolis. And it was just this small, there were probably 200 of us, no sitting. Everybody was standing and bumping into each other, and it was fantastic. Plus, got some drinks, so it was but yeah, it was a buddy of mine said, hey, you want to go see Cake with me? I'm like, what, really? Yeah, let's go. And probably the best concert that I've been to. I've never been a fan of big stadium for the most part. I mean, there are some good stadium concerts, but for the most part, the bigger it gets, the less intimate it gets. You've got 12-year-olds standing on chairs when you're like, I bought second row tickets, I should be able to see the guys. It's like, what are you doing, small child? And why are you even at this concert? But yeah, it's
number three for me. I just remembered number three for me was Duran Duran at the Hard Rock Hotel here in Las Vegas. Before, the old Hard Rock Hotel, they had their concert auditorium was called The Joint, and it literally was the size of your high school auditorium, maybe a little bit bigger. Wow! But this was in the late 90s, and it was open. There was no seating. It was basically a huge dance party, and I went there with a girl and her friend, and we just had a ball. I mean, it just Duran Duran, just they were awesome.
Oh,
So that's number 3.
my
I don't go
my
to concerts anymore, but anyway.
my second, and I'm embarrassed to say this, and I'm probably very quickly going to lose a whole bunch of subscribers for saying this. My second best was Britney Spears.
Oh,
And that was back in the early 2000s, right after she I think it was right after the whatever the Oops I Did It Again thing was. And it was just such a crazy energetic show, and I think that impressed me.
well, I have guilty. Everybody has guilty pleasures.
Yeah.
My guilty pleasure, musically, is the Backstreet Boys. I love the Backstreet Boys.
Oh, see, I'm an NSYNC guy.
I can listen to them all
me.
the time, and I don't like NSYNC at all. I was Backstreet Boys all the way.
No, that's yeah, I got nothing. I got nothing. All right, this show is over, everybody. We'll see you. No, I'm kidding. That's funny. Yeah, I definitely have some guilty pleasures, and yeah, I guess NSYNC is one of those. I had never thought of them as that, because when they come on and I just listen to them. But yeah, that's fair. That's a guilty pleasure. So
yeah.
I'm just looking
Things
at
you learn on these channels,
right. What do we got here? What is
Somebody says I love Hanson. I'm looking
Bop. When they first came out, I was embarrassed. I thought the lead singer of Bop was a girl, and it took somebody to go, no, they're all brothers, and I went, oh, so I didn't know. Then puberty kicked in, and I think everything is good now. But
I'm here still. I don't know where SteveO went. I don't even know if I'm still on. I think I am. Anyway, I'm waiting for SteveO to come back. I guess I'm still in the show. It says I'm still in the show.
I forgot to mention.
There he is.
Forgot to mention that here on Xenu Nation, it's not a show unless I kick myself out of the stream at least. There it was. Hopefully that's the only time.
Oh, I was just sort of sitting here twiddling my thumbs. And I thought, I think I'm still on.
Yeah. Don figured it out right away. I kicked myself out of the stream again. Yeah, again being the operative word. So thanks, Don. You are right. Now I got to scroll back up and find where I was in the Yappy box here. So
that's okay. I was going to say, I don't know. On my channel, the Las Vegas Travel and More.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a show. I don't know what your favorite show is. I have several favorite shows of all time, right? But number 1 or number 2 on my list is the show Lost. Did you ever see the show Lost?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm a big Lostie. I've probably watched it from beginning to end 8 to 9 times. Okay. Yeah. And I always like to watch it with somebody who's never seen it. Like I've had roommates and people, and I've never seen Lost. I said, we're going to start tonight. We're going to watch one a night until it's done. It's just the most amazing show to me. I love that show. But anyway, I went on a tour after the show ended in 2010. I went to Hawaii in 2014, and I did the Lost tour. I paid for a tour, and it was all filmed on the island of Oahu in Hawaii. And of course, I grew up there, and I lived there for a while when I was a kid. So I wanted to go see this. So I did a whole tour, and I took photographs and all that. So I'm going to be doing a show on that and show the photographs for all the Losties out there, on my tour that I went there. And it was amazing. I actually want to go back and do it again. Anyway.
No, very cool. I'm just posting, just throwing some comments up as we go. That's now you got me wondering. Oh yeah, my favorite show.
Do I know any bakers? Do you mean like bakers at a bakery or baker people? I actually don't know any bakers, but no, it's a lot of people in Las Vegas.
That is, there are, and that always surprised me. That I always, growing up, I always thought, oh, Vegas is just nobody actually lives there, but of course people have to live there because they got to make the thing work. Um, those casinos don't and hotels don't run themselves, so it. And then, as I got older, I went, oh, people live there, and and then there's people coming in from Henderson, and there's, I started to kind of learn the geography of Las Vegas, but it's one of those things that if you don't think about it, you just go, nobody lives there. That's just where people go to hang out.
Well, it's funny because I would have never guessed that I would end up in Las Vegas, but I have a history in Las Vegas. My mother's oldest brother, he moved here in 1964, and he was a big executive in several of the casinos. He was in charge of the accounting department. He was a comptroller at the Desert Inn when Howard Hughes bought the place. And so we came to visit like when I was 13 in 1971 when we did a cross-country trip. And then again, I went on mission when I was in the Sea Organization in 1979 and came to Las Vegas to recruit people for the Sea Organization. And and I was there for that. And then I got sent on a mission here in 1980-81 by David Miscavige. We had to do surveys for the new Scientology organization they were going to move into a new building here in Las Vegas. And we were supposed to survey the raw general public as to what the purpose of the organization should be. So I got sent here with somebody else, and we had to go around and basically do surveys of people on the street and everything. So I had all this different history. And so then when we finally left in 1990, I immediately went to San Diego, California, because I thought, well, if I'm going to live anywhere, why not San Diego? You know what I mean? Weather's great. It's a fantastic city. And I went down there, and within about a month and a half, 2 months, I realized there's no work there, and it's very expensive to live in San Diego. So we reconnected. Janice Grady and her husband Paul found me, and then we reconnected with Janice's sister Terry, and we ended up Terry. We had no idea what we were going to do. There was no internet. We had no resume. I had no way of telling people what I did because Scientology wouldn't verify anything. So Janice's sister Terry had a Scientology friend who was basically under the radar leaving, but he ran a mortgage business in California, and he was moving to Las Vegas and was going to open up a company here. And he said, why don't you all come here and I'll teach you the mortgage business? So, I mean, from his point of view, it was a good deal. He was getting 5 people who, basically were Sea Organization executives who were really good. And then he could teach us the business. And that's how we ended up here in Las Vegas.
So San Diego, expensive. That is one of my dream towns. I'm like, I don't know. Then I'm thinking, well, maybe I can retire there. Oh no, you said it's expensive. Like I can't do that. So, okay, maybe I'll retire in Vegas.
Yeah, and that's what happened with my mother. My mother, she retired when she was 69 in 1999, and she lived in Washington, D.C. and had been there for years. And of course, I lived here, and she was like, I'm going to retire and move to Las Vegas. And so she did, and she's been here now 24 years, But a lot of people move here because, the cost of living is lower than other places in the country. Now, it's high now. It's higher than it used to be, but it's always been relatively cost effective to live here. And then also there's a lot of jobs available. All the casinos, all the industries here that are moving here. Amazon is just blowing up. They're building distribution centers all over town. So it's, there's a lot of work here.
Yeah. I'll have to rethink my retirement plans. So I was just thinking of something, and Hef's got a good comment here. These are compelling concerts. Aerosmith / Run DMC or Tom Petty.
Wow. Now Tom Petty was on my my bucket list. I wanted to see Tom Petty. Unfortunately, he's no longer alive, but that was one group that I wanted to see, Tom Petty. And the thing is he wouldn't come to Las Vegas for some reason. I know one of the reasons is that not for him, but for a lot of groups, is that they charge a lot more for tickets here in Las Vegas because you're coming to Las Vegas, right?
Right.
So they figured, well, we'll charge the casinos more, and so therefore you're going to have to pay more for it. So a lot of times it's much easier to go to Phoenix or to Denver or to California to go see a concert because you can get the tickets a lot less expensive.
Makes sense. Yeah, that would have been an amazing
New Kids
concert.
on the Block.
New Kids on the Block.
KOTB.
First ever concert, and still your favorite. My first concert was another band based out of Minnesota, but it had a couple of national hits. It was called what was it called? The Jets, and it was this.
Oh yeah.
You remember the Jets? They were
yeah.
I think they were Tongan originally, or the family was. The parents were from like Tonga,
like Menudo from Tonga.
Yeah, but they had moved. The kids all grew up in Minneapolis or in the Twin Cities, and it was this family band with like 6 or 7 of them, and that was it was them. And opening for them was a band that I really enjoyed. Again, this was at the Minnesota State Fair, so these were Minnesota bands. They were opened for by a band called Limited Warranty, which also had like 2 hits on the national charts. And but I went there for them, and then hey, I bought the ticket. I may as well watch them both. But yeah, that was my first ever concert. So it was like, it was kind of like a New Kids on the Block of the mid 80s or something. And that was kind of fun I always like the state fair concerts when you can get somebody good at a state fair. I missed out. There's a concert in northern Minnesota called We Fest, or Western Experience Festival, and it's just this big. It's kind of like a tamed down, Woodstocky type of thing for country fans. And one year they had Ray Charles there, and Ray Charles was on the 3rd day of the Sunday, and I was working at a summer camp, and I had the Saturday off, but I didn't have the Sunday off, so I couldn't see Ray Charles, and I was really kind of bummed for that, because that just to see him, knowing even at that point in the late 90s that he was older, he wasn't going to be around forever. And yeah, my bucket list concert was actually the Grateful Dead with Jerry Garcia, and they got as close as Chicago before Jerry passed away. And now I'm like, do I want to see it? I don't know if I'm a fan of John Mayer in that role, So, but I'll probably still have to see them before the rest of the band, isn't playing anymore.
My first concert when I was like 14 years old was Chicago and the Beach Boys. Yeah, that was my first concert that I went to. I noticed Stephen Britton mentioned Blue Man Group. I have an interesting brief story about Blue Man Group. Chick Corea's son, Thad, was in Blue Man Group here in Las Vegas for a while. He's not anymore.
Really?
But, they hire drummers and they put the blue makeup on them, and he's a drummer. And yeah, he was in Blue Man Group here in Las Vegas for a while. That was several years. That was the years ago. But yeah, that was Chick Corea's son.
Wowza. Kim's favorite, David Bowie in '76. That would have been a heck of a show too.
Years. Young Americans.
Oh. You guys are like adding to my you missed out list. So it's
Chicago. I see Miss Sunrise Dawn says about Chicago. I've seen Chicago probably 5 or 6 times. I haven't seen them in a few years, but I've seen them like at least 3 times here in Las Vegas at the casinos. And one of my favorite, the last time I saw them was at the MGM Grand Casino. This had to be, 15 years ago. And in those days, they had a maitre d'. Like, you didn't buy a ticket for a seat. You basically bought a ticket to come in.
Right.
And then in the old Vegas showrooms, there were maitre d's, and you tipped them, and then they would put you in a seat based on how much you were tipping and all that. Well, I went to go see them at the MGM by myself, and I walked in, and the guy said, "Oh, would you like to sit up right up front?" I said, "Sure." So I handed him a $20 bill, and I literally was sitting on the stage, and I could slap high fives with the horn section every once in a while, and it was fantastic.
Wowza. Hey, great comment here from Sweet Liberty. Yes, please, if you can, and physically you can, swing on over to Mark's channel. It's M Fisher LV, at M Fisher LV. Just type it up in the bar up there. And go and watch from Mark's channel. First of all, subscribe. We're trying to get Mark up to the 1,000 subscriber mark. But then if you can watch from that channel and give him some watch hours, we want to get that channel monetized and moving as well. So,
and the title of the channel, if you don't want to use the it's called Las Vegas Travel and More. You can find it that way too. And it's got a picture of me holding Misha as a puppy. So that's how you know you found the right channel.
So yes, so do that. I was thinking you were talking about Chicago, and I'm thinking, there's the lead singer is not a name anymore, right? I remember I'm a fan of the Peter
Cetera.
Peter's playing with them?
No. He left them a long time ago.
Yeah, okay.
Robert Lamb is one of the originals, and he's one of the singers.
Yeah, okay.
And then they had a replacement for Peter Cetera,
okay.
And then they had another guy named Bill Champlain, but he's not there anymore. But the horn section is what's really great,
right?
In terms of seeing them.
Yeah. Absolutely, their horn section, and then Huey Lewis's horn section, the Tower of Power horns. Remember them? I think they're still touring like random casinos and whatnot throughout the Midwest these days. But I do love. You throw a good horn section in a pop band, and it's pretty amazing the sound that it makes. So
I'm completely unknowing in terms of today's music. Like Taylor Swift, she's the hugest thing going. I don't know any of her songs. Same thing with Beyonce or any of that. I knew her in Destiny's Child. I just don't listen to that anymore. As you get older, you get, more of a fuddy-duddy, but I like acoustic guitar music. I like Hawaiian slack key music. I love Hawaiian music. It's very, very relaxing. So when I do listen to music, I end up listening to that, or I listen to the classic stuff that I like, you know what I mean, from back when I was a teenager. And my favorite eras are the 1980s. And then the late 1960s, the Motown era, the Beatles, Rolling Stones, that era. And I'm not a big fan of the 70s. I mean, I have groups that I like that from the 70s, but when I get a 70s station, a lot of the songs when they come on, I want to switch it. I'm sick of those songs,
I fall into the same or pretty similar categories to you. I'm a big Rolling Stones fan. Love the Stones. I have I'm pointing like I have a physical thing. I should just be pointing into the computer. I've got this like multi-disc set of all of their songs, and it's just I do love the Stones. I will admit I am a Swiftie. I do love Tay-Tay, and I'm part of the gang or the team or the group or whatever she calls all her girls. But
I know of her because I'm also, my other guilty pleasure, I'm a big TMZ fan. I watch TMZ every day, and if I don't see it, I have it tape recorded and I watch it when I can. I love TMZ. I love all that celebrity gossip, and I know all about Taylor Swift and what's his name, Kelsey, the tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. I know all about that stuff because I watch TMZ.
Yeah,
and what I love about TMZ is they're so funny. They make snarky comments and stuff, and I just laugh every time I watch that show.
Oh, TMZ is hilarious. I'm typically not a fan of, all the gossip because, half of it's like, oh, look, we've photographed these two together. They must be together. And, a lot of, but kudos to TMZ.
That's usually the lead in though for them going after each other and cutting each other down and making jokes. You know what I mean? They'll talk about, oh yeah, Beyonce did this. They're like, did you ever do something? You know what I mean? They just go on. It makes me laugh. I always wonder, what do they pay these people? Because they look like they're just employees, right? I mean, but they're on every night, Monday through Friday. You know what I mean? I would think they would get paid a decent salary because they're on TV all the time.
I think they get paid for what they find and what they get. So I think there are days where some are just getting whatever, pennies. But if you get a good shot and you get a good whatever, you're getting paid. Probably with them being on TV now, doing that show, they're probably getting paid more. Harvey would be.
Oh yeah, he owns it. Yeah,
he would be well inclined to pay them a little bit more for that. But I gotta say, kudos to TMZ though. They do break some good stories. They do find.
They were the first ones with the Michael Jackson stuff. When he died, and OJ. They had a lot of National Enquirer broke a lot of the OJ. These people, they pay for it. The reason the mainstream media doesn't like them is because they pay for stories. Do you know what I mean?
Well, absolutely.
And also, Mark Headley. I saw Sweet Liberty mention that Mike Rinder said that TMZ's in Scientology's pocket. They may be now, but Mark Headley used to go on. He used to be a tipster for TMZ, and he used to sell stories to them and stuff back when he was blown for good and nobody knew who he was.
Okay.
So whatever.
Right. I know some of the other. Yeah, I know he. I think he tipped off like In Touch and a few of those others as well back in the day. But yeah, I love this comment from Sweet Liberty. I want to go to Las Vegas and see Penn and Teller. I do too. Penn and Teller. That's the type of show that I'm more inclined to see now. I love comedy and I'm blown away by magic, and Penn and Teller just amuse me. Going back to the It's Tricky video from, if you recall, they were great in Run DMC's It's Tricky video. So, yeah. But anyway, I do enjoy them, and I would love to see them in concert as well. But yeah, there's a lot going on in Vegas that I could just, I don't need to see, dancing, acrobatic things like that. No offense to the French folk, but but yeah, I some good comedy and I really wish I kind of wish it was back in the day of the Rat Pack, that type of we're going to sing some songs, we're going to tell some jokes, we're going to do stuff like that. That's the type of thing that would draw me. So Penn and Teller is kind of probably my next draw to Vegas would be to see them. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, I was going to go a different way, but this is exciting too. Kimberly's first concert was Three Dog Night back in 1972.
They're great. I still listen to them from time to time.
Chow, one of my fellow Minnesotans. OMG, you mean limited ability? Rolling on the floor laughing. Limited warranty. Got big because they won Star Search. Yeah, I know. Which was oh my God, Star Search was horrible, but yes, it was so America's Got Talent and all that crap in the 80s. But it was horrible. I know they weren't great, but they had a couple of good songs and it drew me to them. I had their one album on cassette. I don't think I've ever repurchased that. I may still have the cassette. And then Hef, when I saw Shaggy, no, Hef, that wasn't you. In concert, I had no idea until then that he had an American accent, right? Because he always spoke Jamaican. That's right.
Yeah, he sings sort of like that.
Yeah. Nicki Minaj did that for me for a while too. I thought she was British because she had such a compelling British accent, and then
great album. I have this album. Shaggy did an album with Sting about 3 years ago, and it's a fantastic album. It's a reggae album, and I love Sting. Sting is one of my all-time favorite singers as a rock singer frontman. He's just amazing. And U2 Bono is as well. And I agree with you. He can get political and all that, but just as terms of a singer frontman, he was fantastic, and Sting is as well.
Yeah, and the Police. I've loved the Police since the '80s. I mean, just an incredible. Yeah, and I kind of fell away when he went solo. Not that I didn't like him, and I think that the stuff that he sings, even solo, is amazing. But oh my God, I was just so, it was one of those moments where you like feel hurt because, the Police are no more. So now I just have to kind of find a new love, that type of thing. And I wasn't that old, but that was exactly the feeling was.
Steve-O, there's a channel on YouTube that I like to watch. It's a guy named Rick Beato. Do you know who he is?
I don't know Rick. No.
Okay, Rick Beato, Beato. Okay, he's got like 2 million subscribers, right? But he's a musician, producer, and he does interviews, and he does like what makes this song great, right? And then he'll do like the Police. Whatever, every little breath she takes or whatever, and then he breaks it down. He actually has, because when I was in Scientology at the Sea Org, I got into the music studio because we did recordings and stuff. So I love this. But anyway, so he'll put it and he'll solo tracks, and you listen to the drums going along, and he goes, listen to this part here, listen to that part there. But he also does interviews with people. He did an interview with Sting 2 years ago. Sting never does interviews about his music, right? And then we just lost Denver SteveO again. Anyway, but he also did an interview with Andy Summer from the Police 2 weeks ago. There he is.
Here I is.
Back. But I was going to say, he also did an interview just 2 weeks ago with Andy Summer from the Police. And they're going over like, oh, how did you come up with this guitar part on, whatever, every little breath she takes and this and that, It's, I get lost. I get lost on that on YouTube. I love those things.
Yeah, I'll check him out. That's huge. That's amazing. Yeah, I absolutely. Rick Beato. Yeah,
big time. Yeah.
No, I'm. Yeah, I mean, I'm such a. Police are another one that. At some point, I bought some big collection of theirs and burned it in. It's now I'm sure I'm. Whatever I sharing or whatever they call whatever when you throw your music in and then it's just I don't know, I forget what they call it. What do they call it? It's Apple Share, iShare, something, all access. I forget what the name is, but yeah, and it's definitely so much of the Police come up in my playlist now that it's that them and the Stones and Tay-Tay. So maybe a little in sync. So so I kind of wanted to ask you, I'm stepping completely away from the music thing.
Yeah. We kind of wasted some time on that.
No, that was great. It was, I mean, and if more people have more questions or comments about it, we'll absolutely bring them up. But you and I have something in common that I was excited when I think you had mentioned it in maybe one of your lives or one of your uploads or something. You and I are both Eagle Scouts.
Ah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So that's, I think it was one of the lives I think I was in. And
that's I did. I mentioned it. Yeah.
That's so always exciting. Let me ask you this question. So when you were, I'm just curious because I went through the scouting program essentially from the dirt ground level of the Cub Scouts all the way up to my Eagle.
Me too.
You too? Okay, that was. I wasn't sure if because I know a lot of kids would come into the scouting program at the Boy Scouts. They'd skip the old Weeblo program, which
I did. I did skip the Weeblos. I did. I forgot about that. Yeah, no, I did Cub Scouts, and then when we moved from Hawaii to Washington D.C., I dropped out of. I didn't do Weeblos.
Okay.
But then I had the neighborhood kids that were in the Boy Scouts, and so I joined the Boy. We had a great troop. And I joined and it was fantastic. I had a great time.
So when you're in DC, because Minnesota is one thing. There's a lot of woods, so there's a lot of places to camp and all of that. Where do you camp when you're kind of based out of the DC area? Is there?
Well, we got all of Virginia and Maryland. I mean, there's all the mountains and the woods and all that. It happened that one of the kids in our troop, their father owned like 100 acres out in rural Virginia. It was
Oh,
all woods and trees. So
beautiful.
that was our campgrounds when we went camping that way. But the great thing about doing the Boy Scouts in Washington D.C. is that we went to all the jamborees and all the different, things like we'd go to Civil War battlefields. We went to Gettysburg. We
Yeah.
went to Antietam. We went to all these different places where all the Boy Scout troops from all over the East Coast would come and they would camp there, and that was amazing. As a kid growing up in D.C. area, you're living in history. I mean, literally, all the Civil War battlefields are there. You've got George Washington's house. You've got all the stuff that you studied in school. You can go
Yeah.
see it.
That's very good.
So that was
Very true.
amazing. But we had an amazing summer camp in the Shenandoah Valley, Appalachian Mountain Shenandoah Valley, and it was the Goshen Scout camps. And they had a big man-made lake, and they had 8 camps. And then all summer long, troops would come in for a week at a time to the different camps. And I got my rowing badge there. I got my canoeing merit badge there, my mile swim.
Wow.
I would get all my merit badges in summer camp because you were just concentrated for like a week on your own. And I loved it.
No,
that part I liked.
I worked at the Boy Scout summer camp that I attended. I worked there for 7-8 years, from like 15 to 22, something like that. So went from working in the commissary, packing food and my story, and I'm going to actually tell the whole story on a kind of the camp, on a show here in 2024. But the short of it is I was up with my troop the first week of scout camp. They still had positions to fill that they weren't able to fill, before camp started. So somebody, the assistant director of the commissary said, "Hey, if you're interested." I said, "Well, I got to call my mom." So calling my mom from a payphone at the admin building at the summer camp. And she said, "Well, if you want to." And I'm okay. So I just stayed and worked. Yeah, cut butter. I was 15. I was using the ham slicer. No fast food place would have let me touch the ham slicer at 15 years old. I'm sure that was against laws, but I had the record. I couldn't tell you what it was, but I had the record for how many slices of ham I cut in 1 hour. And I would sit in the coolers, or in the large refrigerators with a hot bucket of water and a knife, and I would get the knife hot, and I would cut government butter into quarters so we could split them up for the troops and the different patrols. And then I started there, and I essentially I was a program director, camp program director, my last 2 years. So I actually created the program for all the scouts. So all the scheduling of the beachfront activities, the tower climb, we had a four-sided wooden tower with the grips on it, kind of an outdoor REI, and so we'd have all the kids would climb the tower. So programming all of that, all the nature center stuff, and we would essentially put together the whole camp program every week for each of the troops that were there. 1 year I was there. There was the last week of the camp, there was a Mormon encampment, because for the Mormons, I think still to this day use the Boy Scouts as their male youth leadership program. I know that they've been developing their own in recent years, but back at that time, we were still doing that. I mean, it was just
it had to be great. It was a great job.
It was amazing. It was one of the best experiences that I had, and to be able to go up there every year, watch my staff develop, the people that I worked with, see somebody that was an aide 1 year, and now he's running the beach 4 years later. I mean, and just all the fun that we had up there. I mean, there was so much good and bad and everything else that we did at camp, and it was just an amazing experience. So
it was my first experience living away from home. We went to Boy Scout camp for a week.
Right.
You didn't do that. You didn't go away from your parents. I wasn't in boarding school. So, that week, that just being away from your family and parents, it helped you grow up before college or anything like that.
Right.
But now camping to me now is Motel 6. Okay, that's camping. I, I'm known for not going on camping trips. You know, if I go, I gotta stay at a motel because I hated sleeping on the ground. I
Yeah.
didn't mind sleeping on the cots and the tents at summer camp, but oh my gosh, you know, sleeping on the ground in a tent when it would rain and you get all wet. Just
Right.
no. Give me Motel 6 any day.
Our staff cots, we had springs. We had the metal
Yeah,
ones
yeah,
with
yeah,
the
we did
springs,
too.
and yeah, it was nice. And then, but yeah, no. Even with those cushion pads that you could buy, those essentially yoga mats to lay on. Those were it was no good being on the ground. I'm with you. I mean, our staff tents were elevated 3-4 feet up, and we had stairs to get you into them. So they were, but we would have crazy storms, and I'd find myself at 2 a.m. holding the tent down because one of the sides just kind of ripped the nail out and was just flapping in the breeze, and I was drenched at 2 a.m. Until somebody could run and get a nail and a hammer so we could put it back together.
And this my scouting experience was right before I finished Eagle Scout, right before I got into Scientology as a teenager. Okay, and I mean, we were expected to go to college, and being an Eagle Scout was quite an achievement as far as colleges were concerned when you were applying to get into college. If you were an Eagle Scout, that was a big feather in your cap. So that was the other reason why I did it. And then of course I didn't need it to get into the Sea Org.
True.
But I used to blow Miscavige away though, because I graduated high school and I had my high school diploma. I also had my Eagle medal that I brought with me to the Sea Org. You know what I mean? So I was like, yeah, I was proud of this stuff. You know what I mean? I had my Letterman jacket I was a swimmer, and all that. And I brought all that stuff with me, and they all kind of looked at it like going like, man, nobody ever graduated high school here.
So I've got 2 questions there. First of all of that stuff that you took with you, did you get that back?
No, unfortunately, when I went to the Rehabilitation Project Force in 1982, the stuff that I had, they put my stuff in storage, and then when I came back, it was all gone. I don't know what happened to it. I lost it. So I take that back. I still do have my Eagle Scout medal. I have that in my safe. I was able to keep that. I had my high school graduation ring. Those I had and I kept. But like the my Letterman jacket was the one that I really wished I still had, but I don't have it.
I never got the ring. I should. Maybe I could still get a high school graduation ring. I just never did that. I don't know why. But I love my Letterman jacket. I hear you there. How old were you when you got your Eagle?
I think I was 14 or 15.
Oh, you were one of the young ones.
Yeah, maybe 15. Because I wasn't able to drive, so it was before I turned 16. That's for sure.
I was one of the ones that I got mine. I may have had merit badges signed off after my 18th birthday, but I was essentially on fumes. I had one of our scout leaders was driving me around to get things signed off the day before my 18th birthday, so I could officially get it, because I waited till the end. I did.
I understand. Summer camp was when we got most of my merit badges. That's what it was great. You go to summer camp and you get 5 or 6 merit badges. You know what I mean?
Right.
Doing different stuff because you were so intensely doing it.
I like this.
At 85 when he came to William and Mary during. Wow, that's a great album, by the way. Dream of the Blue Turtles.
Dream of the Blue Turtles. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I'm trying to be gentle. So I don't. So this touchpad doesn't knock me out again. I know that's.
Yeah. You've been being, beaten up in the. No, I'm just joking. In the chat.
I have. They know that they can. So.
No, it beat you up with love. It's okay.
Here it is. Dawn going. Yep, I did it again. Yeah, Britain going 2 knockouts of SteveO from the stream. Yeah, I think my record is 3, but I'm not working on that one now. So, I absolutely loved that scouting experience, and I know that the program has gone through some some challenges here lately, and are, you know, and in some cases, I'll be honest, rightly so. But yeah, it's just it's
You know,
just
the thing
difficult.
though is that it teaches you basics in life. Okay, be prepared is the motto of the Boy Scouts, and I
Yeah.
still to this day have that drilled into my head. I'm ready for things before 15 minutes before I need to do something. I'm ready. You know, be prepared. You know, I forget the other ones. You know, the different code of a scout, right? But the motto was be
Loyal,
prepared,
helpful,
and
friendly,
I've
brave,
I've
courteous,
always
kind,
kept that.
obedient, cheerful, thrifty. Trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
Yeah.
Those are the 12 points of the, what is that? That's the Scout Law. And then be prepared is the motto. Yep. Be prepared is the one that I probably have the most trouble maintaining these days.
Well, it served me well in the Sea Organization, because if you were late for muster, you got in a lot of trouble, and there were 3 musters a day. So it was like you get there 5 minutes early. I mean, when I go to movies, which I haven't done in years, but when I used to go to movies, I would get there early before the trailer, you know, be all the previews, because otherwise I'd wait till the next show.
I was going to ask you and say, people never liked you back then, did they? But I know they did. So show off. Here, Steve Britton agrees. Motel 6 is a really good motel chain.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I agree with you. I much prefer to camp in a hotel, but you know, I'll take a fifth wheel or a, what are they?
Oh yeah, no, I have friends.
Streamliner.
Janice and her husband Paul. Yeah. They used to like to go camping and all that, and so I was like, no, I'll pass. I like driving out and seeing it. You know what I mean? I love going to national parks. I just don't want to sleep out in the woods with the bears and the and the bugs and the smoke and the campfires.
Right. Hey, Jacob Harkey, welcome. Jacob, gotta say, love the stuff that you and Louie have been doing here lately. I caught the last couple, and that's kind of cool. Jacob is the news reporter for from what's Louie's last name? Louis. I've drawn a blank now, and I feel bad because anyway, Lewis's channel. So they've been doing some great little news reporting here. Any idea if Miscavige has a Letterman jacket from high school wrestling?
Probably not, because he didn't graduate. He dropped out at 16.
There we go.
As soon as he turned 16, he dropped out, joined the Sea Organization. I met him a month later, and I just graduated.
Aye. But he definitely deserves one. I think that's probably one of the few things that he probably should get an award for is high school wrestling, because it seems like that's what he does. Let's see what else we have here. I'm in trouble. SteveO, that was meant to be
read in a faux Transylvanian accent, the Count from Sesame Street.
For did I miss one? Was that the Motel 6 one, or was there another one there?
I guess so.
Okay. Ha ha ha. 1, 2, 3. Ha 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 ha.
There you go.
So what did the Scouts force you to sell to as a fundraiser?
I remember chocolate bars. Yeah, the other fundraiser, we would collect newspapers. That was the thing. I remember we had a big. It was our troop met in the basement of the church that I belonged to, and then they had this huge cage that they built, and then we would go and collect newspapers for recycling, and we would make money from that.
Oh wow, we had to sell Christmas wreaths, which, you know, it's a time thing, right? You got to get out there in time, but you can't be too early because you don't want because they were legitimate Christmas wreaths. I mean, actual, not artificial. And now I think they're selling popcorn. So they kind of went the way of the Girl Scout. I think the national program is there's now like Scout sponsored popcorn that kids sell. So they sell, sell that to get to summer camp and whatnot. What's this one? Mark, so true. I carry a scout manual in my car. Wow.
You can never be too prepared.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true.
There you go.
That's right. It's very cool. Oh goodness, thanks. Thank you, Jacob. Louis Repetto, yes. Yes, Louis Repetto has his is it Leaving Scientology? It's Lewis's channel. And then Jacob's done some whoa. My Davy just jumped.
Oh, your fake Navy, Davy.
My fake Navy Davy. I think everybody that won them from my channel has received theirs thus far. I had a couple of let's see. I've got a couple of questions starred here, and don't kick myself out. 2 knockouts. Yes, that's right, Britton. Britton enjoys watching me kick myself out here. In Canada, they sell apples. Interesting.
Oh,
interesting. Yeah. Suppose a good apple seems like something you can sell year round. Like again, like popcorn or Girl Scout cookies. But why can't I find? One moment. I think I lost my. Did I seriously lose my starred questions? Maybe let me try something here. Bear with me as you look at my profile, ladies and gentlemen. That's not it.
While you look, everybody, subscribe to my channel, Las Vegas Travel and More.
Get there. Get there. Oh, here. Okay. This is a great question from Sweet Liberty. Mark, what trips are you hoping to take this year?
Well, first of all, we're looking at doing a cruise sometime in March for all our SPTV people and people that watch our channels and YouTube creators out of Long Beach, California. We want to do like a 3-day booze cruise down to Mexico. And it's really not about the destination. It's more about the meet and greet and have some fun. And Janice is now back, and we're going to sit down and work out the dates and the details. It's not going to be super expensive. Literally, the Carnival cruise out of Long Beach down to Ensenada and back over for 3 days and 4 nights. It's like $300 if you share a room, or $600 if you want your room all by yourself. So, I mean, it's very reasonable. You just have to get to Long Beach, of course. But, it'd be fun. And we want to get away and do something like that. We thought that would be something that's fun. And then I'd like to go to Hawaii. I haven't been to Hawaii in about 5 years. With COVID and taking care of my mother and all that, I haven't had a chance to really travel that much over the last 4 or 5 years. So I've got a lot of things I want to do. I'd also like to go to, Janice is going to go on a safari next year in October. She's going to go down to October 2024. They're going to go down to South Africa and then go on safari. I don't have any desire to do that. I can go see animals at the zoo. I'm sorry.
Yes, but you can touch a lion from a safari. You can pet the lion.
And then the other thing that she's organizing up too this summer is a cruise through the Panama Canal out of Seattle to Miami. It's a 21-day cruise, though. Now, Janice likes to go on these long trips for like 3 weeks. That's too long for me. I like about a week. Yeah. Because I have things I have to take care of when I get home, you know what I mean? But Janice is, retired and she's got friends and all that. So they're planning on doing something like that. For me personally, I'm dying. I want to go back to Japan. I've been to Japan a couple of times, but just as a pass through, and I spent a day or 2 in Tokyo and a day or 2 in Kyoto. But I'd like to go and spend like a week to 10 days and actually get one of those bullet train passes or train passes, where you pay for one ticket and then you can go anywhere you want to on the train. And I'd love to go see the countryside and all that, because I'm fascinated with Japan.
That would be amazing. Yeah, that's that's a place that's a place I've not been, and I would be very interested to go there. What's your favorite place in Hawaii? you have an island or a spot that
Well,
you
I love
prefer?
Oahu because I live there, which is the
Okay.
main island where Waikiki and Honolulu is.
Yeah.
It's the most crowded, but I love it because being from Las Vegas, I like places where there's lots of action. But you can drive 20 minutes to the other side of the island and be on a beach all by yourself. So I like the
That's
mix
true.
of that. I've been to the Big Island when I was a kid with the volcanoes. I've been to Kauai. I've been to Maui. That I went to Maui about 7 or 8 years ago, and they're too laid back for me. I mean, they're nice, but I don't. I'm not a lay on the beach type of person. I like to go and do things. So
Fair enough. Fair enough. I agree with it. I think that assessment is perfect. Yeah, and on Oahu, I was definitely kept moving, and let's go to Pearl Harbor. Oh, let's go check this
yeah,
out. Let's go here. Let's go there. We're bouncing back and forth, and even the hotel. We stayed at the Hilton Honolulu Village, and even the
yeah.
hotel was just moving, and just, I mean, you couldn't, you're in the what is it, the hot tubs, the pool things, and here they are handing you Mai Tais, and you go out to the beach and there's just people all over there. But yeah, you're right, you go to Maui and it's just that's
You're usually at the resort. You don't leave the resort.
No.
If you go into town or whatever. Unfortunately, they had that terrible fire in Lahaina. But
Yeah.
you basically, if you're at a resort, because they're far apart, you end up staying at the resort. It's the same thing in Mexico and Cabo San Lucas. Unless you stay in Cabo San Lucas in the town and the hotels there, the resorts are on the corridor and they're like 4 or 5 miles apart. So like they basically want you to stay there and eat at the restaurants and hang at the pool and all that. And I like to be able to get around.
I want to go to Maui, shave off my beard but keep my mustache, throw on a Detroit Lions ball cap, and drive around like Magnum. Right? Rent a red Ferrari and just drive around like Magnum. That would be fun.
By the way, I love the old Magnum. I hate the new Magnum PI. It's just not the same.
I refuse to watch the new Magnum. I actually still refuse to watch the new Hawaii 5.0. It's same thing, but it's.
I did watch the Hawaii 5.0 for about 3-4 seasons, and then I got bored with it.
I heard it's decent. I just refuse to watch them because it's like the new MacGyver. Why would I watch the new MacGyver when I had the old MacGyver? Don't ruin my childhood. So we can talk about ruined reboot type things, but no. Yeah, I'm a huge fan. I remember when I was a kid, I would get home from school and one of the channels would play the reruns at like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. So I'd get home essentially right in time to watch the next episode of Magnum, and I loved it. That may have even been when the show was still running before it ended. But I only had a couple of issues with the show, and it's because they kind of played with who Robin Maxwell was. In one episode, you see what's his name, the
Orson Welles.
No, well, there was no, who was the little British guy that ran the house?
Higgins.
You saw Higgins like get onto a helicopter with him, and then there's like the Orson Welles thing, and I think the show ended with you supposed to believe that Higgins was actually Robin Masters the whole time. And it's like, okay, you can't mess with us like that. But the rest of the show, oh my God, Rick, TC, that whole crew, I just loved him. I loved it. So anyway.
Well, in the house, that's the other thing too.
God,
that house actually existed on Waimanalu, on the windward side of Oahu, right? And so I've driven past it several times. With the little lagoon, that they had, like the little rock lagoon. That was the house, and he'd drive in with his Ferrari and all that, right?
Yeah.
Well, who bought that property was Barack Obama. Bought that property after he was no longer president. And then they tore down that it needed a lot of work. They tore that house down and they built like two residences there, like one for the Obamas and then one for the Secret Service. And so that's where that is, that property.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
So I couldn't tour the property because Obama.
Secret Service and stuff. Yeah.
Oh.
But I was just going to tell you, right before we did the show, I found there's this channel called Freevee, Freevee. It's over
I know
Amazon.
Freevee, yes.
Well, I just was just flipping around the other day, and I saw a show that I used to like to watch when I was a kid when I got home from school called Dark Shadows. Have you ever heard of Dark Shadows?
Yes, absolutely.
And that was it was the soap opera about the vampire Barnabas Collins and the Collins
Right.
family, and it was shot in black and white, but it was on at 4 o'clock in the afternoon when we got home from school, and I had to be 8, 9, 10 years old when this was like 68 to 1971 or 72. I used to watch it every day after school, and I hadn't seen it in years. So I was watching like the first 2 or 3 episodes. They run about 20 minutes long, and they're amazing. I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Back to my childhood watching Dark Shadows on.
Oh, that's
Freevee.
funny. Speaking of ruined reboots, I believe Johnny Depp did a remake
Yeah, it was
movie of
terrible.
that. Yeah, it was horrible. But yes, I
Tim
do
Burton
remember. I do
directed
remember
it,
the
yeah.
show. Here's a great question from Chow. Does Mark have a travel advisor, or recommend using a travel advisor, or does he recommend people booking travel on their own? Great question, Chow.
Well, for myself, I like to book it on my own because when I realized that you could book, airline tickets through cheaptickets.com or, Expedia or all these different sites, it was much easier to do that than to have a travel agent, put it all together. Now, we did a group trip to Hawaii about in 2004 at the work I was at, and I organized that. I used a travel agent for that because we were bringing about 16 people, and that's when it's an advantage when you get a group together. Like for this cruise that we'll probably do in March, we'll probably use a travel agent to book us if we get a lot of people, because you get better deals when you have a package deal like that.
Sure.
But for myself personally, I like to book my hotel and airfare, and then I like to go, and then I'll book excursions if I want to do that. I'm kind of funny when I travel. If I'm going somewhere for the first time and I want to sightsee, I like going by myself because I've done that before with people, and it's like herding cats. Everybody wants to go someplace else. And when I like to go somewhere and I've never been there before, I'm up at the crack of dawn and I'm out until it's dark and ready to go to bed. And I'm using every minute of the day to see everything that I can in the short amount of time that I'm there. Now, if I'm going to a beach or on a cruise, that's different. Then I like to relax and I like to go with other people.
Now, I am the person who, when I go on vacation, I like to sleep till 10 or 11, grab some coffee, and maybe sit by the pool till 1 or 2. I typically get one thing done one travel-y thing done a day. Oh, let's go look at this. Okay, there. Now I'm coming back, and now it's time. I'm gonna eat some dinner by the pool again. But not because I want to, but because, darn it, I just enjoy sleep. But did I mention I slept through Christmas? Anyway,
yeah,
totally different story. But but I hear you, and actually, I suppose depending on where I went, if I was going to, Australia or Japan, great example, or was on Oahu and wanted to really just kind of hit everything there, I probably would be up much earlier and trying to cram stuff in. But if I'm going to be there for 5 or 6 days, I don't want to do it all in the first day. So I mean, that's my logic. So to answer Chow's question, if you are Mark, book on your own. But if you're anybody else, reach out to Chow Yun Smut. That's Chow Yun Smut at gmail.com, and she will advise your travel for you. And Mark, if you need a travel advisor, reach out to Chow.
I didn't know that. There you go.
Cricket, that's Cricket's thing. So
that's cool.
Miss Sunrise Dawn asks, did I get your email earlier? Your 4-year-old stole your Davy doll. I did get it, and I just didn't get a chance to respond. You know how I am with email. But oh my God, that was so adorable that she stole your Davy doll and was running a marathon around the house with it. With little Davy. Where is he? Where's the camera? With little Davy running around the house. So I love that. Yes, Dawn, I did get it, and thank you. And one more, and I don't know. Can we sing "Happy Birthday" to Jane Doe. Well, Jane, happy darn birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Jane.
And I will
Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday
to you.
Happy birthday, dear
Jane. Jane
Happy
Doe.
birthday
to you. Yay. So happy birthday, Janie. That's fantastic. Not a day over 18, I'm sure. But
I see Annette Bates mentioning that John Hillerman, who played Higgins, he was from Texas, actually. He wasn't British. Great actor.
Oh,
he was in Blazing Saddles, too.
What else did he do? He did...
Was he in Murder, She Wrote?
Was he the voice of Kit? Was that him?
No, that was a different guy.
That was a different guy.
Yeah, that was a different guy.
Was the different guy the guy that was in St. Elsewhere?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't remember his name.
Okay.
I'm really good on trivia, by the way.
I'm usually pretty good on trivia, but he's one that...
I have a good memory of things, yeah.
Right. Nice earpiece. Thank you. Thank you there. Thank you there, Steve. I don't know. Yeah. I like yours. Mine's corded. Mine's plugged into my thing. I actually do need wireless. I do need to do a wireless thing. But I don't know. It's hooked to the mic too, so I figure what the heck. This is a Shure. The other Mark Headley recommended it, so
yeah.
Let me just see here.
Any other questions? Get in here because I've got to go to bed here shortly.
Yeah. Get your questions in, everybody. What's this? The Scouts have
they pick up Christmas trees after they sell wreaths. They sell wreaths.
Okay,
that's good. In other words, they probably take the trees away, and
Oh yeah. Now that you say that, Mandy, there is a troop in that has they just take up some open field that's some undeveloped area, and they do sell some Christmas trees here. I completely forgot about that. So that's right. That's another. That's probably a good way to make some money too. The thing that sucked about the wreaths is you were knocking on doors individually. So, and you would take the orders, and then you'd have to bring all the wreaths. You'd have to have, mom or dad drive you in and throw them out of the truck or whatever. And it was the individual thing. I mean, it's just like selling Girl Scout cookies. But when you do trees or something like that, where it's kind of a group thing, and then that money's going into the troop fund, and spit out equally to all the kids in the troop. That's kind of a nice thing too. So it's always a challenge to be able to get everybody up to summer camp, and them camps ain't cheap.
No.
Britain. I spent an hour in Scouts.
In Seoul.
Oh, in Seoul. Oh, in Seoul. Oh,
South Korea.
Oh, South Korea. That would be fun too.
I've flown through there, but I just was in the airport.
How far how close to the border can you get? Isn't there that like that?
I have no idea.
I think there's like that little like peace thing that's like
militarized zone, DMZ zone. Yeah.
But I think you can you can stand right there or something, right? And that would be fun to do. Just to say that I did it. So let's see. We're just checking out. Don says, there we go. Davey's been stolen by a 4-year-old. Oops. I'm not sure what this was referring to. I can't do that. Oh, that's for heifer. Never mind. Steve needs to be busy. I need to be lazy, Steve. That's John Hillerman. Oh, that's I think the one you saw. John Hillerman, who played Higgins, was actually a Texan. Yeah, no, he was fantastic, and that's sounded not at all Texan in that show. Dark Shadows was hilarious for the bloopers because they wouldn't cut a take for anything at all. Oh, I've got Got to go
Yeah, it
back
was a
and
soap opera. It was a soap opera, so they literally were just shooting it.
they just kept going.
They
Right.
just kept going. Yeah.
That's
As a
funny.
matter of fact, the show I watched tonight before this, the kid messed up his line. You know, I mean, I knew he messed it up because he couldn't remember the name of the character that he just saw on the scene before, and he just said it like my cousin, blah, yeah, yeah.
That's funny. There we go. I had to draw the line. Oh, this is the 4-year-old.
She gave it
trying to give it to the dog. Yeah, no. I know of at least one, Davey, that was torn up by a dog. And TIFF 45, we got her a rescue, Davey, but yes. Hef liked Dark
Oh my
Shadows
God,
the
so
movie.
not horrible. I love Dark Shadows the movie. Hey, everybody's got different tastes. I mean, I liked it too. It was kind of campy, but it wasn't like the show exactly. It was
No.
it was Tim Burton who did it, so it had his style.
Oh, that's right. It was Tim. Of course, it was Tim. I was just going to say, Hef, you're wrong, but oh, Cassie, where did it go? There it went. Oh, we'll have to do more of
Thank
these.
you.
That's very nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Come here.
Torn up by the dog. You say that if it's a bad thing. Well, because it's Davy, it's probably not a bad thing. But I'm sure folks wanted to, want to put them on their shelf elves on a shelf thing with their little wobbly legs. I'm sure people don't want to get a second one. I only have a couple extras, and I don't know why I have extras because I gave them all away. But I think my wealthy benefactor maybe threw a few extras in the box and I wasn't aware. So I actually found a note when I bought my first 5 that said, "Steve, I have no idea why you want 5 of these things." So I threw in a 6th one. So I'm like, okay, so I knew about that, but I think when I got the extras, I think maybe some more snuck in, which Hillerman listened to many hours of Winston Churchill to get the accent right. I can see that. Yeah, he nailed it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Annette. Yeah, he was fantastic. That was just it was just an awesome role for him. And
you know what I loved about the show was Tom Selleck. Did you notice whenever he drove the Ferrari, it had to have the top off because he's 6'4". His head was above the line of where the roof would be. If you ever watch the intro, I love the intro, with the helicopter and the music and all that, right? Well, he gets in the Ferrari, takes off, but you'll see his head is higher than the Ferrari.
And that is why no scenes ever happened in the rain, or at least no scenes in the Ferrari. That makes sense. Oh my goodness, that is funny and so true. Selleck is an American gem, I gotta say. He's I thought he was gone after Magnum, and then popped up on Friends for a while, and then of course Blue Bloods. Just a good, and now he's
Blue
selling.
Bloods has run longer than Magnum. I've never seen Blue Bloods, but it's very, very, very popular.
Yeah, it's got Marky Mark's brother in there, and it's a good show.
It's on the block.
Yeah, that's right. It's a good show. I think they have to stop filming so he can go on those New Kids cruises.
Yeah.
Davey is still sitting on the dashboard of his car. Steve did a whole series of pictures of it was essentially a Davey going to work with Steve, and they were just bouncing around. So it was just fantastic. I completely forgot about High Road to China. That's
I remember that movie. Yeah.
What was the bad one that he was in? Was that Quigley Down Under? I mean, not bad, but it was just
I remember that. He was in those Sackett movies too, the Louis L'Amour movies that were great.
Yes, he was. Yes,
with
he
Sam
was.
Elliott.
Oh, Sam, huh? So, This is true. Now he wants to ruin your future by having you take out a reverse mortgage. Yeah. So, and then Dawn.
I've got to wrap up, Steve.
No, I know. I was just saying we're done here now. We're done here now. So, Marco, yeah, thank you very much.
I enjoyed it.
It's been fun. Everybody that came in and either subscribed to a new channel tonight or are still going to subscribe to a new channel tonight, please do so. Remember to hit like on both channels. And yeah, Xenu Nation will be back on Saturday. And you guys got some new stuff coming out this weekend?
We're going to do a New Year's live show on Saturday, I think, Happy New Year's type thing. And then tomorrow we're recording part 2 of our interview with Robbie Levin about the early days of Celebrity Center.
Awesome.
So that'll be coming out here soon too. We've got quite a few people lined up. It's just we've been waiting for Janice to get back. So, and anybody that's watched our channel, our Scientology Stories Peeling the Onion, that's what we do. We do stories about the history of Scientology and the Sea Organization, and we let people tell their stories about their abuses and what happened to them and all that too. So that's really what our channel is about.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, again, thank you everybody for being here. We had just a great night, and
you've been a great host.
Whoa, I'm a co-host. This has been our show, not just mine. So, but thanks again, everybody, and we will see you soon. Have a wonderful rest of the night, and if we don't see you beforehand, have a wonderful New Year's. We'll see you soon.
See you
Bye,
later.
everybody.